Guys, it's been one long week, but I think we finally got our Mustang K-Member ready to go. Welcome back to the garage, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to take the engine out of the big block Miata and see what's inside. But before I get into that, I want to show you guys why this garage is such a mess and what I've been doing all week. So we've got 55 days and 12 hours to get this puppy wrapped up. Let me take you outside real quick and show you what I've been working on all week. So here's the reason the garage is such a mess right now. We've been doing chassis and fab work all week. So we've got our 460 mounts on our Mustang K-Member. We've removed the old 302 mounts that used to go in there. We just scabbed these in with some scrap metal. These are actually the mounts that were on the Miata chassis originally. We've also put some hardware here to mount the steering rack. So this is the original rack hole up here. We've moved it down and just a little bit to the passenger side to get the clearance we need. Typically, when I have to take the engine out of the Miata, I have to pull all the suspension and cradle out of my way. Fortunately for me, this time it's already out. I still have to cut the upper tie bar out, but then we'll be able to lower this thing down and forward out of the chassis. Before I get started on that though, we're gonna do a little bit of housekeeping and see if we can't get this mess under control. Now that it's safe to walk in here again, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this engine out. First thing I gotta do is lift the car up, get underneath, and make sure everything's disconnected from the transmission, and hopefully not make a mess with fluids everywhere. So that didn't come out quite as easy as I wanted it to, but nevertheless, it's out. We've got ourselves a big gaping hole in a Miata, a little bit of fluid spillage, and then here is our 460 we're gonna be working on. What I'm gonna do now is get the cradle back under the car, get it rolling, get it outside the garage. That way I've got more space to separate this transmission off this engine and get this thing broke down. With the Miata out of the garage, we've got tons of room to do what we gotta do to this engine. I almost got ahead of myself and tore it all apart, but I realized I should probably do a compression test so I've got a good before picture of what this thing was like. In order to do the compression test, I had to get this old starter out of here. This post completely burned out of the back of that solenoid. So we've got our new starter in here, we've got ourselves a battery, I've got a charger just so we have consistent voltage, and I've removed all the plugs. So I'm gonna run through this thing cylinder by cylinder and see where it stands. Let's try it again. With compression readings like that, I'm surprised this thing ran at all. Next thing to do is we're gonna get this transmission off the engine and get the engine up on the stand. Man, I hope you guys like time-lapse segments because this video is full of them. So we've got the 460 up on the stand. Right now I'm gonna rip into this thing, take the cylinder heads off and see what we've got. for the moment of truth. Let's see what's going on with these cylinder heads. I've got bank 1 here on the engine. Bank 2 is over there on the workbench. First glance, I look at these things. I don't see a whole lot, but a bit of discoloration in cylinder 4, which we know we've got 0 compression. So I'm gonna come back around to that in a minute. Bank 2, cylinder 6 right here, doesn't really visually look any different than the rest of the cylinders. So I'm pretty sure both these cylinders have bent valves. So what I'm gonna do is take a little brake clean, flood the combustion chambers, and see if it leaks out. First thing I gotta do is I gotta put the spark plugs back in the hole and get the head on the bench somewhat flat so I can do this. With the spark plug installed, I'm gonna put a little brake clean in here and see what happens. Looks like a cylinder full of brake clean. Now that's concerning. So I was really hoping to see some brake cleaner leaking past those valves, but it's not happening. So do I really have bent valves, or is there something else going on? So I don't know, but I'm gonna end this video off right there so I can go do some research and try to figure this thing out. If you guys have any tips and suggestions, definitely drop them in the comment box below. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.